And it seems to me like the different warring political parties inside the United States are so intent on taking down the other side. They do it, from my eye, at the national security peril. In other words, a headline against Trump is better for them than U.S. national security or world security. I'm curious what you think.
Well, I think we're all saying something that's derivations of the same thing, versions of the same thing, right? There's a massive information warfare landscape happening, and it is that fog of war that we look through that gives us that tension about what's actually happening at the ground level. If you think about conflict as being what humans will do to each other, there's layers on top of that that create this distortion of what you can expect. And there's so much activity in the information landscape that it's very distorted what could actually happen. We have a term at CIA, and when we talk about covert influence, activities to shape information, we talk about volume and speed, which gets right back to your point about TikTok and social media. We've always engaged in information warfare, but the volume and the speed was much less and much slower because you had to fly fucking pamphlets and drop them out of airplanes and hope that the people reading it were reading the right dialect of Arabic or Spanish. You had to hope. And then once there was a rainstorm, all of your pamphlets are done. And if you're trying to make it look like they're not coming from America, there's all sorts of other layers to that. Well, now an algorithm that you don't even control is contributing to that. And then you've got creators, content creators all over the place that have no added value to the content they're creating, who are just clipping, cutting, and putting things together and then further being amplified, right? So the volume of information is massive, and the speed at which it disseminates is huge, and the algorithm can dictate whether you see it or don't see it at all. So while I appreciate your point of view, that there's this tension and there's this growing concern, I honestly think that your opinion on that is because you're informed and intelligent. And there are huge groups of people who are completely oblivious to where we actually are on a sliding scale of approaching conflict.
Where are we?
I think that's what we're really here to discuss. I would argue that we are not entering a phase of less conflict. We are going to enter a phase 5 to 10 years of more conflict, increasing conflict, a willingness to engage in more kinetic conflict, to use your term. I don't think that we're showing the various global power competitors of the world that it will not be tolerated. I think we're showing the global power competitors of the world that violence, kinetic attacks, cyber warfare, weapons development is going to be accepted.
My wish is that America could overcome her tribal anger, that a lot of Americans have toward one another that are in different political parties. Because I feel like America is a leader in terms of security and safety, or can be and should be. And that all of this amplification of the rhetoric is deeply dividing. The fancy word is divisive, but it's just dividing. And that if there's any place that one's enemies or adversaries, or call them what you will, can take advantage of that, it is right there.
Is that wishful thinking?
For me to say, I am a very wishful thinking person.